And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spaceship stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Karen Reed verdict that happened, that it is finally over with, and it was what I expected it to be. We'll talk more about wildlife and other things too. And now what I'll be doing is switching over to the other window so people can see me. Alright, so hello everybody. It's me, Alien Spaceship. I hope everybody's having a good evening and had a good day. We're doing our annual evening stream that we do. Alright, and here I am. Alright. So, I am about to start the game, and that is always nice to do. And then as the stream goes on, I'll show different articles and things, but I'll be talking about the topic while I do the stream. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to start up the game and continue. Alright. Alright, the game is now launching. Scared. Yeah, so Karen Reed was found innocent, but she has to do a year of probation for the drinking that she did. Driving intoxicated. And the crowd was... her fans were quite excited and outside the courtroom and also in the chat. She was accused of deleting her boyfriend with the car by kind of like scraping or kind of hitting him with the, to put it in layman's terms, kind of hitting him with the vehicle. And there was a trial last year, but it was a hung jury, and this time it was guilty. And as I said, many people have strong feelings on both sides. All right, this is Cuba from the 1700s, kind of going back in a time machine. But of course, parts of Cuba look like this. It's just the technology is much different. All right, so yeah, Karen Reed was found innocent, but she has to do a year of probation for the drinking. And yeah, so with the drinking, I think that, or any kind of intoxication where it would cause somebody to be inhibited, especially while driving, is not right. And maybe you could accidentally hit someone with a vehicle or hurt yourself or others if you are drunk. But as I said, she was found not guilty. And we have talked on this channel a lot about the Karen Reed trial, on both perspectives. We've had people on here that have said their opinions, and then we had two attorneys say their opinion about it, and they both had different takes on it. So that was a very good discussion in the chat about that. So I liked to see that it was nice to have dialogue with people in the chat. But as I said, some people will get very excited, very emotional about their position, and then people will have a habit of idolizing certain people and situations. I don't know what in the world this is. What is? Oh, it's a dagger shop. Interesting. I've never seen this before in the game. It must be new. Scared. Battle dagger throwing, and I'm doing more dagger training. And then on the islands, this is got swords. All the swords and weapons we got were from plunder that we had in the voyages. Alright, so that's pretty cool. It looks like a theme park with the swords and stuff. This is kind of like what Six Flags looked like back in the day. It had like a pirate ride, and it had some pirate gift shop stuff, so I like this. It's pretty cool. And you got this guy that does clothes and things like that. Alright, catalog. assassin, and soulless sailor, and spice trade, Spanish adventurer. Different types of clothes. There's Father's Day one. They're quite creative. All right, so that just example of the shop. It looks like so. This is kind of like what a modern version of a mall. What's this character do? It's a trainer. Let's see. Ah, okay. So there's retraining. So this is like a mall. Like this is like what a mall would have looked. A pirate mall. Scared. All right. So the with Karen Reed, you have people on both sides with strong opinions, and I think that sometimes people idolized. People idolize people all the time, and then there's an argument that Karen Reed was not a cancer patient or some sort of a citizen that did something or some really important. She was just like an NPC that got into some trouble, and yeah, it's so. And I guess people might be angry that somebody was falsely accused of something hypothetically, where they might want to identify, or maybe they think she's relatable, that it could happen to anybody. But still, I do think people can have any opinion they want about these cases. I just would advise them to not take it too far to the point where it's something unnecessary. Like, you don't want to use unnecessary energy or unnecessary tactics on stuff. So the other thing about her trial was that people think she was framed, and then like G and we've talked about. Although I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I think that like most conspiracy theories are true, or they become true later, or there is some truth to it, but some are not true. So yeah, it would be far fetched for all of them to be collaborating against her like that, in theory. But people, the jury, and everybody seeing this, it looks fishy. Like, say, there's reasonable doubt. There's the burden of proof isn't there, because there's also like there's an opinion, there's an emotional part where people might like her or dislike her. It could be either way. And then you have to look at the facts, where when people are judging things through a legal point of view, it's better to not have a bias about it, because you have to view it through a legal lens where people, for instance, will see that the police did not thoroughly investigate, or they did not investigate it properly, and they seem like they were trying to withhold and hide things, and there was corruption in their force. So it just turned people off, and it wasn't 100% clear that she did something, because you have to have burden of proof that something happened. Like, if it was clear as day that she could see her in a vehicle hitting somebody, then there you go. It's not too much you could do about it, but you could still defend it. But this was very great for her defense, where they had this, the way they butchered the investigation. It causes a problem. So that is why people and the jurors and people looking at the case are seeing. Then there's another point of view that it was going too far, with the conspiracy seemed too far fetched, and it would be logical that she accidentally clipped him, and she even said in an interview she may have accidentally done it. So you have a side that's still skeptical about it, but it's just like I'd say a mystery. So I personally don't have like strong feelings about it either way. It's up to the jury, and I want justice for O'Keefe like everybody else would. So there was the not guilty, but she had to have probation, and her fans were in the chat. Also in the outside the courthouse, very excited and cheering. I'd say it was kind of like the Johnny Depp trial, the way that ended, where you have the. I'd say it was like the emotional height of something like that. And she did get famous and made an impact on it, and I assume she'll probably come out with a book or something. And we'll see how the rest of her life goes if she ever pops up in the news again over anything. But drinking under the influence is not good. It disrupts and causes people issues, or any kind of intoxication where it would inhibit people. People are going to drink, they should do it sober and not do it to the point where it will cause them such problems that they'll be at the point of no return where they hurt themselves or somebody else. All right, pumping. All right, so now hammering in the ship and putting it together. All right, there we go. All right, so the ship has been completely repaired. Scared. All right, so now I'm going to go plunder some ships. All right, so here we are going to continue with the plunder over here. Going to kind of attack these ships and get them. Yeah, so, and I think that her team did a good job with their defense. I remember with the attorney, he came out and her crowd was cheering, and he was kind of shushing the crowd, so be quiet, and he does like the devil horns, the rock and roll sign. People call it a devil horns because they're trying to like kind of put them down, but yeah, it's like either the devil horns or the rock and roll sign. It's however people interpret it. And yeah, I think Karen said about the remarks, kind of saying remarks about she was thankful for everybody for supported her. They were thankful, she was glad to be free, and then there's some remarks made by them, and then they went into the car, and that was it. So her as I said, her defense did very well with what they did. Very excellent. From like a legal point of view, and they had a lot to work with. And she didn't do like what Darrell Brooks did, where defending herself, or what Lori Daybell did, defending themselves, and it's just clearly that she's guilty and there's something off about it. Yeah, so that's something that is good, because it's always good to have someone defend you rather than you defend yourself. So that was done very good, very well. And then they have Bev, the judge. She seemed kind of comes off as chill, but a lot of people don't like her and think she's corrupted. And this will cause a lot of different opinions on both sides about it. Like, some people think that the judge did a good job. Others think that she had bias, and then also some said that she was kind of lazy, where they had the short days. The ship can go down hypothetically. I need to. This stunt I'm doing is a little bit goofy, so we're gonna kind of go here and just sink it because it could cause our ship a problem because I didn't get it in time. So we're going to send it right down to the bottom. All right. You got these two ships that are like morphed together. Look at this. It's quite like they're both like stuck together. It's kind of funny. I got it wrong. Alright, now what I'm going to do is they are splitting up now in two different directions. We're going to go this way. Fire at this one. And then fire at that one. And both go down. Scared. Alright. Now with the Karen Reed trial, I am very glad that it's over with. And it's important to see how all the people, as I said, people were very divided over it. People had wars over it. And although I'm not too sure what the future trials hold, I am glad that this one is just put to rest. You know. And hopefully if she really did do it, that she doesn't do it again. And she could just stop drinking so much. And also, she can... Yes, if she was innocent, hopefully she isn't framed for something she didn't do again. So, however people want to view her guilty or innocence, that's the take on it. Right, so now you get the Phantom ship I'm about to square up with. I'm scared. Right, now going this way. Alright, so turning it that way. Now these ships are very easy to take out. It's not really that much effort. The ones that are a little more complicated are in the other side of the pond. Rest in peace to John O'Keefe. And yeah, so I'm glad it's over. I enjoyed chatting with my different friends and people there, and new people too. And yeah, today there was like 100,000 people, or nearly 100,000 people in the chat. As I said, it's the equivalent of like when I saw the Johnny Depp trial. That's what it reminds me of. Except she got famous from the trial itself, and I think people might think she's relatable because she's a regular person, and maybe that could happen to anybody. So maybe that's why people can relate to her and like her a lot. But of course, there could be a debate or discussion about why that is exactly. There could be different points of view on that. Let's see, the volcano island. As I said, it's somewhere out there. Because I'm on the other side of the pond. The other island is. Well, that ship completely went down. It's like on its last leg, literally. Let's see if we could get it. There he goes. Now they're squaring up with me. Alright, so that's good to see that ship go down. Because people. So it's great that that trial is finished. Now there's Koberger will be coming up, and I was supposed to watch Koberger, but I forgot to. I was watching some other trials. I completely forgot. Like this morning, I saw it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, but so I had to rewatch parts of it, and it's just kind of like the same old thing, the same old Timu thing, and with a touch of Sheen. All right, I can't find the volcano island on the map either. I'm scared. Alright, I see it. I see the island now. I go straight down to that island by going this way. So I'm using the map and the lines on the map. I'm gonna go into this line right here. We have a direct path to the volcano island. And there it is. We are on the trajectory to collide right with the island. Usually they have some pretty powerful ships out here to sink. Seeing just a few ships. Okay. Alright, you got a couple of them. We got this goofy ship right here on fire. Let's see if we could go and plunder it. I didn't hit it at all. Okay, let's see. Let's back up. And well, the ship doesn't need to be repaired before we do any more battles, I guess, as to plunder the treasure. So we're just going to go here. I would use come about, but I already use it. I am too close. Now we're going to go and see about this, sinking this ship officially. Parlay. We're going to go over to this island right here and dock to get the treasure, and then we'll repair the ship and get the other ones in the volcano island. All right. I like, it's very fascinating. All right. All right, so this island has a bunch of zombies on it. I don't know how often I've been to this island. It wasn't that often. Let's see. Let's go in here. Yeah, cutthroat jungle. I tell you, I've not been here that much. At least I don't think so. I've been here a couple of times, but I've not really noticed it was this island. Alright. Okay, that's the island. Okay. It's a lot like the movie. They had scenes like this in there. Alright. The Coburger trial starts later this year, I believe. Somewhere in the summer. Okay, probably. Yeah. So let's launch it. Yeah, so I'm slightly repairing this so it'll be okay as it voyages in, and then might get it repaired another time. Just kind of patching it up a little bit. And with Karen Reed, there's a very diverse opinions about her. Some love her, some hate her. With like Lori Daybell, it was quite static. I think Monica Cementelli has a sentencing soon. Okay. I cut this wood. Nice. This is going well. Alright. Now we're going to be pumping out the water in the ship. Okay. do some more sawing, and then when it gets repaired, it won't really be that much. Or I might just completely repair it. Alright. And then tomorrow, the next 2 days, the trials won't be... Some of the trials won't be on. I don't really know what has happened with the Carlos trial. Not too sure if they're still deliberating or not. It was kind of wild to see it took that long. Okay. Alright, hitting the nails in here. Alright, now we're going to be patching up. It is almost repaired, that's great. Okay, let's go here. Go there. Okay. Alright, now it is officially done. Okay, so this time going towards Volcano Island over here. It's not called Volcano Island, but that's what I call it. Making a turn. It's called Smuggler's Run. Okay. Alright, we have this dragon right here. I call it a dragon. But it's not really called a dragon. This one's a more complicated ship. And I missed it by a scratch. I only scratched the ship. Karen Reed can't be tried for the... Again, for what she was tried for this time. We got a pirate over there that is being targeted by the Navy and all the bounty hunters from Timu and Sheen, respectively. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to sink this one right here in the back. Alright, that is excellent. Now going to this side. So now going back to Volcano Island and targeting these other ships that are out here. It's going to be quite interesting. So this is where a lot of these ships are located. Boom. I got that one. Oh yeah, Aaron, I agree. And hello, Aaron. It's good to see you. Welcome to the chat. And Aaron says Karen is free. Everyone must be so mad over here. LOL. So glad that the case is done. Yeah. So yeah, earlier today when the our chat friends were over there, yeah, many were angry. Some people were happy. So like there was just like a split opinion on both sides. Yeah. Hello, Aaron. I hope that you've been doing good, Aaron. It's nice to see you. So yeah, and I was watching it, and it was nearly 100,000 people in there, and I was saying, that kind of reminds you of Johnny Depp trial where with the fans outside and the people in the chat. Yeah. So Karen Reed is free, and she'll do probation for a year, and the burden of proof wasn't there. The reasonable doubt was a factor, and in spite of like what really did occur, it didn't fall into place for the state, and then the state and the police are going to be in hot water, and people are calling for the recommended investigation of their police force, and we'll see if there really was this corruption this framing that really occurred. Oh, and we have the speak of the Dookie. It is Moki herself. Welcome, Moki. Hello there. It is Dookie time. To Yeah, definitely. And Aaron says, I'm better. Had a crazy Father's Day with my dad. House fire. Oh my goodness. He's good, but living with us now, watching court will be a little bit harder. Oh, okay. Ooh, house fire. That's not good. Well, I'm glad that he's okay and he's with you. I mean, that's rough. I know it's not. I went through a deadly hurricane one time, so I can understand. What time is it? Dookie time. Yeah, so and we were witnessing that in the today with the Karen Reed. The chat was on fire for both ways. Both sides were saying their thoughts about it, and the chat was going very fast. I was surprised anybody could see me. But I had conversations with people there, and people were telling me their take. And I'm glad that the trial is over with. And we'll see what happens, and certainly people got to watch when they're drinking that they don't cause harm to themselves or others. Oh, hello, TJ. Oh, welcome. Great to see you. All right. And you got some other pirates who are taking out some ships. All right, I'm going to dock this one right here. Oh, hello, Zoe. Oh, welcome. Scared. Okay. Now, I don't know what the trial is called that we've been watching during the daytime. It's like a teenager or like a 17-year-old or something. I don't know what his name is, but I know it's kind of goofy, but I'm watching it, and there's a witness today, and they're saying the N word, and chat was like, "Nah, don't say those words." Yeah, you shout to all of you. And Moki says, "Grosses me out that she's going to profit off this crime while the family has to watch." Yeah, because I was saying before, preppy murder. Okay, preppy murderer. Okay, thank you, because I didn't know what the name of bro was. Yeah, so basically, I was saying before that she's going to write a book on this. She's going to be on some podcast, and yeah, it would be lucrative for her. And then Oki said, "I said from the start it was a smart move to go public." And so shout out to Dookie Chat, where it's a Dookie stream. All right. As I said, I miss Koberger. I was gonna watch it, but I was too mesmerized by the Greed trial and the other trial that was on the Preppy murder trial. I said, you know what? There's no other trials on, so I'm out. But not quite though, not quite. There was a little catch to it. Yeah, but I rewatched the Koberger thing, and it was just the same old thing. I love the judge's look in the Koberger trial. How he just is not tolerating the nonsense. But he has to be there, but he doesn't want to. But as I said, he's doing a good job at it. He's doing a good job, but he just is not tolerating the nonsense that's going on there. Because he kind of reminds you like there's Uncle Simon from the Twilight Zone. That's what the judge. I'm not just saying it in an insulting way, but like that character was not playing, and that's what the judge is like. He just doesn't care. Like, and he has like his hand on his head, and he's just not. He's like trying to fathom what he's going through and what he's witnessing, and that was wise of them to at least give her probation for the drinking, because hey, if you're drinking, you might accidentally hit somebody with a vehicle, when you may not even really know it. You might wonder, did you hit him or not? So, and I think a big factor in this was if it was investigated better, or they didn't try to withhold evidence or try to hide things or whatever they did wrong, it just turned everyone off. It turned the people off. And also Zoe says miscarriage of justice, in my opinion. Zoe came from there. Yeah. Yeah, Zoe came from there. She found me from a trial chat. Yeah, invest it in Karen Reed, yeah. So that's like, and also as I said, through a legal lens, which a legal lens is a very snake way to view things, because even Jesus said that lawyers are liars and twisters of the truth. So lawyers are good to defend people that need help, but also, there could be it's tricky. It's all a bunch of trickery. So the burden of proof and reasonable doubt was present, because you have to have the burden of proof to convict her, but it doesn't mean she didn't do it, though. That's the whole trick. But then again, if you can't really prove she did it, then you don't want to put an innocent person in jail. It's a catch-22. Ronnie Walker murder trial. Oh, okay. And also, the Preppy murder trial is not going to be there today. It's not going to be on to. Well, that doesn't make any sense because it was on today. What I meant to say was a Thursday and Friday. Thursday is going to be Juneteenth, all right, and then you're going to have the other Friday. They're going to be off. I'm joked out. Zoe's pretending it's fun. I think I'll need therapy, lol. Well, we do have a therapist on the spaceship. The therapist we got from Trial TV Live. Shout out to them, good channel. And yeah, so she's a therapist of the spaceship. So we do have a therapist on board. Hilarious, Aaron. Yeah, shout out to Moki. Cool people. Oh, hello, Tina. Welcome. Oh, welcome to the chat. We are, while I wander around this game, we're discussing a couple of different things, including the trial of Karen Reed, and it is finished. I'm glad that it's finished. Well, personally, I don't have strong views on Karen Reed either way. I don't really have a strong opinion about it. I'm just glad that it's over with, and if an innocent person was spared, I guess it's a good thing of getting locked up. But if it wasn't, then that's the people should have investigated it or done a better job at not making themselves look shady. Oh my goodness, Smokey, that killed me. Or what I should have said was that deleted me. Tina has been marked safe from Karen Reed. Hilarious. I love to give advice like therapists, but my husband said to stop. I was directed at me from Rando. It was nice to see her too. And Tina has been marked safe from Karen Reed. It was Fox 3 Tampa. I haven't heard anything on Carlos Crazy. It's still taking so long. Right, and I remember watching it last year. I watched it last year, and I watched it this time. As I said, it's finally over with. Hey, Tina and Moki, oh yeah, apologize later, haha. I won over her and somehow. Scared. Oh, we're doing well. And I've been watching. What I've been watching was the. There's a YouTuber called Skeeter Gene, also called. Well, he used to be called Skeet Hansen, but he changed it to Skeet Gene. He does what Chris Hansen does and catches the predators. And I've been watching that recently, quite a few of those episodes, and yeah, just very disturbing stuff. And it's good that they're catching the people. And then, one of my friends and I were having a discussion about it and how, like, because sometimes the prosecutors don't prosecute those people because it wasn't really a minor there. But then again, it's like sometimes they do take it seriously. They do lock them up also because their intentions were to go after a minor, and it's not. You want people like that off the streets. You don't want people like that on the streets. So I hope all those people that are trying to look at those, trying to actually talk to someone underage, they all get locked up because it's. I'm glad that there's people trying to expose them. Still, because it's important for everybody to be safe. And I also liked. I love that I stumbled across Law and Crime during the Johnny Depp trial because it brought me to an interesting adventure, and I learned about different points of view of cases and stuff. We have zero trials tomorrow. Oh dear. Well, it looks like I'm going to be going live much earlier during the daytime, like we did before. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Smokey, for the heads up. Tomorrow's a holiday, Juneteenth. Yeah, and shout out to Juneteenth. It was it's a holiday when they had some people in Texas come down and to Texas and say, "Hey, slavery's over with," and so yeah, it's a holiday. Oh yeah, Aaron. Oh yeah, definitely. It is a new holiday. Now, I remember talking about. Now, I've never heard of Juneteenth before. Personally, I never heard of it until it was mentioned before. And, like, some people did celebrate Juneteenth. But I never heard of it in my neck of the woods. And New Orleans is a very black. There's a large black population. They never talked about it. I never heard of it in my life. But other parts of the country, there's been people that celebrated it, and it was made a new holiday. And as I said, shout out to the holiday. It's hope people have a good day with it. Def Sue, no trials tomorrow. Preppery is off for Friday too, right? Yeah, everything's off. Yeah. Preppery's off Friday because the judge was saying it's off Friday. I know that, like, yeah. So that's what I remember the judge saying also. Yeah, wow. All right, gonna go this way and hit the ship. All right, so Juneteenth is when on the June 19th there is some the Union came down to Texas during the Civil War and they told them that slavery's over with and they have to give up the slaves and they were like, all right, and they released them. Yeah, so it has to do with like when some slaves in Texas were freed. because they're like, because slavery was abolished, right, and rightfully so, and then they went down to Texas and say, "Hey, it's over with." Right, and hello, Gloria. Good to see you. The official ending of slavery, putting it in labels, not in labels terms, but put it in layman's terms. And hello, Gloria. It is wonderful to see you as always. Scared? Yes, it is when slavery was and officially over. They went down to Texas and said, "Hey, it's over with." And hello, Frog. Hello there. Hello, chat. Oh, your tongue hurts from biting it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do now is we did the game part. Now we're going to talk about Juneteenth. I'll go read a whole article about it, and we'll know what's going on. All right. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate you all liking the video and hanging out with me. Y'all are some. I love you all very much. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to look at Juneteenth. Shout out to Bubbles. Hello, buddy. You're famous. Okay, it's going to come back up. Yeah, it's the Karen Reed after party. All right, so here we go. We're going to learn about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated annually on the 19th to commemorate the ending of slavery in the United States. The holiday's name first used in the 1890s. That's when my great grandfather came here from Germany in the 1880s, but it was close. Anyway, so is a portmanteau of the words June and Teenth, referring to June 1865, and hey, we're in 2025. That's pretty cool. The day when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas at the end of the Civil War. In the Civil War period, slavery came to an end in various areas of the United States at different times. Many enslaved Southerners escaped, demanded wages, stopped work, or took up arms against the Confederacy of slave states. In January 1865, Congress finally proposed the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Yeah, shout out to the spicy margaritas. For the national abolition of slavery, by June 1865, almost all enslaved persons have been freed in the victorious Union Army by state abolition. When the National Abolition Amendment was ratified in December, the remaining enslaved people in Delaware and Kentucky were freed. Don't forget to hit the like button. I hate when people say that in Law and Crime, but we have two for Alien. Thank you, Loki. Thank you very much. Very sweet of you. And let's see. Yeah, so in Kentucky and Delaware. Now, so there is, and during the time of Abraham Lincoln, there is actually, he allowed slavery in parts of the Union that stayed loyal to him, including New Orleans. I learned this last year that New Orleans was only in the Confederacy for a year, and then we were part of the Union. So there was still slavery in my city during the time of the Civil War because Abraham Lincoln made it. He legalized it in the areas that were not rebel states. The rebel states, it was made illegal, but in the other areas where it was the Union, he made it legal. Then he eventually wound up making it illegal everywhere. Which I don't think that anybody, should be enslaved. I think that we have to get with the program, and it's good, that it ended. And Okie said Frog. Oh, yeah, howdy, Frog. It's good to see you, buddy. Early Juneteenth celebrations date back to 1866 at the first involving the church center community gatherings in Texas. They spread across the South among newly freed African Americans and their descendants and became more commercialized in the 1920s and 30s, often centering on a food festival. Participants in the Great Migration brought the celebrations to the rest of the country. During the civil rights movements of 1860s, these celebrations were eclipsed by the nonviolent determination to achieve civil rights, but grew in popularity again in 1970s. Oh, you got kicked out. Oh, scared. With the focus on African American freedom and African American art, beginning with Texas by proclamation of 1938 and legislation of 1979, every U.S. state and District of Columbia has formally recognized a holiday in some way. Scared. Frog got kicked out. Scared. Juneteenth is also celebrated in Mascazgos, descendants of black Seminoles who escaped from slavery in 1852 and settled in Cahuilla in Mexico. The day was recognized as a federal holiday in 2021 when the 117th U.S. Congress enacted the President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act. Oh, hello, Liberty. It's great to see you. We were talking about Karen Reed. Karen Reed was found innocent, but she has to do probation for a year. And also, Aaron wanted to know what Juneteenth was, so I'm educating everybody about what that is, because she's in Canada and they don't celebrate it. So, and Liberty, I hope you're having a good evening, a good time. Thank you. I'm glad you're here with us. President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, and Juneteenth became the first federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day was adopted in 1983. All right, so also I think Trump had something to do with it too when he was in office the first time. Celebrations and traditions. The holiday is considered the longest running African American holiday and has been called America's Second Independence Day. Juneteenth falls on June 19 and has often been celebrated on the third Saturday in June. Historian churches and water celebration so characterize. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the program. I got distracted for one moment, but I'm back. Juneteenth falls on the 19th and has often been celebrated on Saturday in June. Historian Mitch Calhoun considers that celebrations in the end of slavery have three goals: to celebrate, to educate, and agitate. Early celebrations consisted of baseball, fishing, rodeos. African Americans were often prohibited from using public facilities for their celebrations. So they were often held at churches or near water. Celebrations were characterized by elaborate large meals and people wearing their best clothing. It was common for the formerly enslaved people and their descendants to make a pilgrimage to Galveston as early festivals received news coverage, and Janice Hume May and Noah Arcano consider that they served to assimilate African American memories within the dominant American story. Modern observance is primarily in local celebrations in many places. Juneteenth has become a multicultural holiday. Traditions include public readings of the Emancipation Proclamation, which promised freedom, singing traditional songs such as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and reading of works by noted African American writers such as Ralph Ellison, Maya Angelou. Celebrations include picnics, rodeos, street fairs, cookouts, and family reunions, park parties, historical reenactments, blues festivals, and Juneteenth contests. Red food and drinks are traditional during the celebrations, including red velvet cakes and strawberry soda, and red meat to represent the resilience and joy. Moki says in Read Chat, I was tempted to block Boston Mike or whatever his name is, but he started to make me laugh. Oh. I couldn't help myself in chat and loved it. I remember Boston Mike. I didn't really pay attention to that, you know, individual. I did see the individual in chat, but we certainly had a good time with, you know, the chat in general. Hello, Greg. It's good to see you. And okay, Gregatron. So the reason why I'm not there anymore is just that what happened was with my trial chat people, I started to do live streams where there's times where there wasn't any trials going on, so they want me to go live. So I love the ABL group, and they're very, I appreciate them very much. But what happened was, it doesn't mean I won't go there again in the future, but for now, this group of people, they like me to go live, and for them, I'm doing that for them. And yeah, and I happen to be doing it every day, and I've been enjoying it very much. But I have nothing against ABL or that group. It's just that I had to focus on this group. And it wasn't that I had anything against ABL or chat, and I missed them very much. This group, I needed to do streams for them because they really appreciate the content and stuff. So that's why I haven't been on the show. It was this group that I had to, they liked it when I did the streams and stuff, and they would ask me every day to do the streams, and I wanted to do that for them. So, but shout out to you, Greg, and ABL, and I miss you all very much over there. What I'm doing now is, Aaron is not familiar with Juneteenth, so I'm explaining to them what Juneteenth is. And Loki says that I'm trying to grow my channel. And as I said, yes, I do grow my channel, but I do also attend different streams and stuff like that. And yes, and my channel got monetized, and I have grown my channel very much since I've done those streams. Thank you, Moki. And I am growing the channel. At the same time, I do want to do it for the group as well, and I'm growing my channel and focusing on this one as well. That is true. Thank you, Moki. And Greg said, wow, that's noble. I'm used to you calling in. It's Wednesday and everything. Yeah, I know. And people from the trial chat recognized me from the ABL show. People that I never even knew before. As I said, I do miss it. And as I said, I will go there again. I will. But is this group I'm with? I'm with this group all day long. And before that, I sacrificed a lot of my time. And everything for the trial chat group. And when they want me to go live, I did as they wanted to. Oh, be ABL's competitor. Oh, I'm not trying to compete against anybody. All I want to do is make something wonderful. And that's what matters most to me. And ABL taught me about streaming, and I learned a lot from ABL. And I hope he continues to grow and prosper. And as I said, I hope and wish him the best. Oh, I'm cool with ABL. He taught me everything, and I miss him very much. And I have to email him and let him know what happened, because I haven't told him what happened, and I'm sure like everybody's in the dark about it. But no, I appreciate him very much, and I do miss him. But this group of people, I had to, it's like people wanted something, and I want to provide them what the people wanted. But thank you, Greg, for your concern. And Moki says, when we all are in the trial desert, like tomorrow and Friday, we like to have you stream to watch and chat. Oh, hello, Greg. Oh, thank you, Greg. I'm glad. I appreciate the kind words. And G says, "Hell, hey, all." I'm being a little bit of a tongue twister. Hey, all. Hope everyone is well. Oh, G, we are doing well. We're doing fantastic. We are talking. We are talking about Karen Reed, and also we were talking about Juneteenth because some people didn't know what it was, and I'm explaining to them what the holiday is. And then I feel like there should be a trial on Friday. It's not a holiday. Oh, thank you, Greg, for the donation. And shout out to you. And Greg says, good job. And yeah, and as I said, I hope that ABL and his stream thrive and prosper. And I miss it. It was very painful, Greg, to sacrifice that. But as I said, I had to do what I had to do for the people. In Law and Crime, they have 7 million subscribers on one channel and 600,000 on another channel. And the people there love me like I'm loved all over YouTube. And those people I'm with all day long, and they also like me there too. And then when they want me to do the live streams and there was no trial, I did what I had to do. And like Moki or other people asked me if I'm going live. And sometimes it was a Thursday or a Wednesday. And then Abby when I did it every day. And I'm not even talking necessarily about the same things ABL's talking about. Yes, Frog, I'm going to have a stream tomorrow and Friday. Yes. And yeah, so I met them originally during the Johnny Depp trial. But as I said, I love ABL and his chat. I'm cool with him. He's taught me everything I need to know. But I'm not competing with him or anybody. I'm just doing my own thing. And shout out to G. Always, G is very wise, and I always appreciate her here, and I've learned a lot from her, and she's just so great with the chat. I'm glad that she was able to join us. All right, continuing. The Black Seminoles of Nacimiento in Mexico had a festival and reunion known as El Day de los on June 19. And then many former British colonies celebrate the Emancipation Day. You're welcome, G. On August 1, commemorating the slavery abolition of Act of 1833, since 2021, the United Nations have designated August 31 as International Day of People of African Descent. Okay, thanks, Greg. Oh, thank you, G. I really appreciate that compliment. Thank you so much. And shout out to Gregatron. He has a cool channel, and he's a very cool friend of mine, and I appreciate him very much. History. On September 22, 1862, President Abraham Lincoln announced that the Emancipation Proclamation would go into effect on January 1, 1863, promoting freedom of enslaved people. We have a great group of very intelligent folks bringing in different thoughts from their own life experiences, enriching our lives. That's how we do it. Learn from each other. Amen, G. That is total facts. The enforcement of proclamation generally relied upon the advance of Union troops, Texas as the most remote state. The former Confederacy had seen an expansion of slavery because the presence of Union troops was low as the American Civil War ended. Thus, the enforcement of emancipation proclamation had been slow and inconsistent there prior to Granger's orders, and all June 19, 1865 was 900 days after the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect. 71 days after Robert E. Lee surrendered the Union on April 9, 1865, and the 24 days after the disbanding of the Confederate Military Department covering Texas on May 26, 1865. All right. During the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, the emancipation came at different times in different parts of the United States. Large celebrations of emancipation, often called the Jubilees, recalling the biblical Jubilee, in which enslaved people were freed, took place on September 22 to January 1 to July 4, August 1, and April 6, and November 1. Among other dates, when emancipation finally came to Texas on June 19, 1865. As the Southern Rebellion collapsed, celebration was widespread, while the date did not actually mark the equivalent of slavery even in Texas. June 19 came to be day of shared commemoration across the United States, created, preserved, and spread by ordinary African Americans of his slavery's wartime demise. End of slavery in Texas. Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation in the midst of the Civil War on September 22, 1862, declaring that the rebels did not end the fight and rejoin the Union. All enslaved people in the Confederacy would be freed on the first day of the year. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln issued the final Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in the Confederate States of America in rebellion and not in the Union were free. Planters and other slaveholders from eastern states had migrated into Texas to escape the fighting, and many brought enslaved people with them, increasing by the thousands the enslaved population in the state at the end of the Civil War. Although most lived in rural areas, more than 1,000 resided in Galveston or Houston by 1860, with several hundred in other large towns by 1865. There were an estimated of 250,000 enslaved people in Texas. Despite the surrender of Confederate General-in-Chief Robert E. Lee, Appomattox Courthouse on April 9 to 1865, the Western Confederate Army of the Trans-Mississippi did not formally surrender until June 2. On the morning of June 19, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger arrived on the island of Galveston to take command of more than 2,000 federal troops recently landed in the Department of Texas to enforce the emancipation of its enslaved population and overseas Reconstruction, nullifying all laws passed within Texas during the war by Confederate lawmakers. The order informed all Texans that, in accordance with a proclamation from the executives of the United States, all enslaved people were free. The people of Texas are not informed that, in accordance with proclamation from Executive of the United States, all enslaved are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection, therefore, existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freemen the freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, that they will not be supported in idealness either there or elsewhere. Long-standing urban legend places a historic reading of General Order Number 3 at Ashton Villa, but no historical evidence supports his claim. There is no evidence that Granger or any of his troops proclaimed the ordinance by reading it aloud. All indications are copies of the ordinance were posted in public places, including the the Black Church on Broadway, since renamed Ready Chapel AME Church. On June 21, 2014, the Galveston Historical Foundation of Texas Historical Commission erected a Juneteenth plaque where Osterman building once stood significantly. The local Major General Gragoner's Union headquarters, believed to be where he issued the general orders. Although this event commemorates the end of state emancipation of the remaining enslaved population in two Union border states, Delaware and Kentucky, would not come until December 6, 1865, when the 13th Amendment was ratified. The Federal Amendment also put definitive end to cattle slavery and indentured servitude in New Jersey, freeing approximately 19 elderly individuals. Furthermore, thousands of black slaves were not freed until after Reconstruction territories of late 1866, when Cherokee Creek, Chickasaw, and Choctaw Seminole tribes were forced to sign the treaties that required them to free their slaves. The freedmen of formerly enslaved people in Texas was given state law status in series of Texas Supreme Court decisions between 1868 and 1874. All right. Early Juneteenth celebrations. Formerly enslaved people in Galveston rejoiced after General Order Number 3 1 year later on June 19, 1866. Freedmen in Texas organized the first of what to become the annual commemorations of Jubilee Day. Early celebrations were used as political rallies to give voting instructions to newly freed African Americans. Other independence observance occurred on January 1 or 4. In some cities, black people were barred from using public parks because of state-sponsored segregation of facilities across parts of Texas. Freed people pooled their funds to purchase land to hold their celebrations. The day was the first celebrations in Austin in 1867 under the auspices of Freedmen's Bureau, and it had been listed on the calendar of public events. 1872, that year, the black leaders in Texas raised $1,000 for the purchase of 10 acres of land known as Houston's Emancipation Park to celebrate Juneteenth. The the observation was soon drawing thousands of attendees across Texas. In Limestone County, an estimated 30,000 black people celebrated at Booker T. Washington Park, established in 1898 for June celebrations. The black community began using the word Juneteenth for Jubilee. Jubilee Day, early 1890s, the word Juneteenth appeared in print. The Burnham Weekly Banner, a white newspaper for Burnham, Texas, as early as 1891, mentions of Juneteenth celebrations outside of Texas appeared as early as 1909, Shreveport, Louisiana. Decline of celebrations during Jim Crow era. In the early 20th century, economic and political forces led to the decline of Juneteenth. Thank you, Greg. I really appreciate Greg's clips. Thank you. Very cool for you to do that. All right, so Confederate, or in early 20th century, yeah, cool beans, yeah. In early 20th century, economic and political forces led to decline of Juneteenth celebrations from 1890 to 1908. Texas and all former Confederate states passed new constitutions or amendments that effectively disenfranchised the black people, including excluding them from the political process. White dominated state legislatures passed Jim Crow laws imposing second class status. Gladys L. Knight writes, decline in celebration was in part because upwardly mobile blacks were. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Greg. Jim Crow laws imposed in second class status, and Gladys Knight writes that declined in celebration was in part because upwardly mobile blacks were ashamed of their slave past and aspired to assimilate in the mainstream. Thank you, Moki. I'll check it out. Mainstream culture, the younger generations of blacks became further removed from slavery and were occupied with school, other pursuits, and others who migrated into the northern United States could take time for simply drop celebration. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this is. Ah, okay. Thank you, Moki. Hold on. Shot the whistleblower. We'll talk about that. They're hilariously bad. Huh? Oh, the other link. Okay. I'll go save this one too. Ah, okay. Hilarious. All right. Come on, Timu. Okay, here we go. The Great Depression forced many black people off farms and into the cities to find work where they had difficulty taking the day off to celebrate. From 1936 to 1951, the Texas State Fair served as a destination for celebrating the holiday, contributing to its revival. In 1936, an estimated of 150,000 to 200,000 people joined the holiday celebration in Dallas. In 1938, Governor of Texas James Allred issued proclamation stating, in part, whereas the blacks in the state of Texas observed June 19 as official day of celebration of emancipation from slavery, and whereas June 19, 1865 was the date when General Gordon, who had command of the military district of Texas, issued a proclamation notifying the blacks of Texas that they were freed. And whereas since the time the Texas blacks have observed this day with suitable holiday ceremony, except during such years when the day comes on a Sunday when the governor of a state is asked to proclaim the following day as a holiday for state observance by the blacks, and whereas June 19, 1938, this year falls on Sunday. Now therefore I, James 5, Allred, governor of the state of Texas, do aside the proclamation of this day on June 20, 1938, the day of observance of Emancipation Day. In Texas, and do not urge all members of the blacks in Texas to observe the day in a manner to appropriate it as importance to them. Oh, Proctor's giving an interview. Okay, thank you, Moki. All right, let's save this one. Thank you. Thanks for the clip, Moki. Liberty says, I'm trying natural flea spray on my dog. It's 1 cup distilled water and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Okay. Let's see how it works. It sounds pretty cool. But good job, Liberty. Shout out to your dog. 70,000 people attended Juneteenth Jamboree in 1951 from 1940 through 1970. In the second wave of the Great Migration, more than 5 million black people left Texas, Louisiana, and other parts of the South for the North and West Coast. As historian Isabel Wilkerson writes, the people from Texas took Juneteenth Day to Los Angeles, Oakland, Seattle, and other places that they went. In 1945, Juneteenth was introduced in San Francisco by migrant from Texas, Wesley Johnson. You also sprayed the yard with vinegar and Dawn. Okay, it sounds pretty cool. Awesome. Oh yeah, Aaron, glad to have you still here with us. During 1950s and 1960s, the civil rights movement focused the attention on African Americans on expanding freedom and integration. As a result, observations on the holiday declined again, though it was celebrated in Texas. Moki says, what is ABC Network? Is that a stream or something? I don't see it in this interview or regular TV. I'm going to look it up. I'll look it up now. Yeah, I think it's streamed. If you don't have an account with the participating TV provider, you can still watch the episodes on ABC. Many episodes watching it through Hulu. Yeah, it's like Dateline. The Proctor interview is on 2020. They'll probably stream it in early and then show it Friday night. Yeah, it's on Disney and Hulu. G says, I just read ABC is Channel 7 New York. Okay. Dateline is Channel 4, according to G. All right. Yeah, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Read that the co-murder has another witness against him. By the way, oh yeah, yes, I saw that too. G, there's another witness against Koberger. That's true. Yeah, old or middle age. Yeah, yeah. Also, there's a pension to sign the stream Korai Richardson's What the Hell. Apparently, they are saying no stream for that one. Oh no. Wow. Richardson's will be in 2026. Oh yeah, I want to see that one too. All right. Revival of the celebration. In 1960s and 1980s, Juneteenth soon saw a revival as black people began trying their struggle to that of the ending slavery in Atlanta. Some campaigners equality wore Juneteenth buttons during 1968. Poor People's Campaign in Washington D.C. called by Rev. Ralph Aberthany. Southern Christian Leadership Conference made June 19 the Solidarity Day of the Poor People's Campaign and subsequent revival. Large celebrations in Minneapolis and Milwaukee emerged, as well as across eastern United States. They're saying she's privileged. Scared. In 1974, Houston began holding large scale celebrations again, and Fort Worth, Texas, followed by the next year. Around 30,000 people attended festivals at Sycamore Park, Fort Worth, in the following year. In 1978, Milwaukee's celebration was described as drawing more than a 100,000 attendees. In 1979, Texas legislature made the occasion a state holiday. In the late 1980s, there were major celebrations of Juneteenth in California, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Georgia, and Washington, D.C. Yeah, we do call them out, G. And a lot of times with trials that go on, there is times where they'll get angry at the people watching at home. Like one time, Shannon at the Crumbly trial went and roasted us, and then there was another trial where the attorney was angry at the people viewing at home. So yeah, they don't always like us. Like there'll be a trial going on, then they'll randomly mention us, and all those people watching on at home, and then like the camera zooms in on the person that's ranting, and we're all like, oh. It's funny watching that. Prayer, breakfast, and commemorative celebrations. Yeah, Shannon was a wreck. Yeah, Shannon was from Timu, and her clothes are from Sheen. I remember when she wanted to delete herself. She was saying that, and there are people that have struggled with self deletion and depression and stuff. Shout out to those people that they get the help they need. But Shannon was in court and she was really angry. She said, "You know what? I just want to delete myself." It's such a she was acting so childish. It's an insult to people that really are going through things where they might want to take their own life, because it's like she's just in a courtroom. She should be making sandwiches. Now she should be making sandwiches, because there's women that could handle being an attorney and doing other things besides being in the kitchen. Shout out to them. But Shannon should just remain in the kitchen because she was not a good at what she did, and she should just stay in the kitchen. She couldn't handle being an attorney, and she was very angry, and she rose to the people at home, and she would just get so bent out of shape, and she would have a tantrum. And G said, Aaron, she was like those TikTok things. I've seen where they roast their kids. G said, but an attorney who acts like that in a courtroom. Oh, 100%. She accidentally give middle finger. Yes, G. That's true. She wanted to unalive herself. Yeah, because, okay, what happened was it was raining, and it was very dark in here, like it is right now. And I was just watching it, and I was with one of our other friends, and Deanna. I was with Deanna before she left Law and Crime, and we're, like, hopping in different rooms, and I was, like, watching it with the people, and she was very angry, and there's all these papers everywhere. She said, "You know what? I just want to delete myself." And she said, "Look," and then the judge was like, she was like, "You cannot be acting like this in a courtroom." And she was screaming. Moki, I'm talking about the Crumbly trial. Yeah, definitely disbar her. Yeah, yeah. So she wanted, and she was screaming. So she is the attorney to Crumbly's, and one of Crumbly's parents. It was the mother. The mother of Crumbly, the school shooter. There's like, yeah, I would assume there's a lot of TikToks on her, definitely. Scared. And then she would stand up and she would talk to the witness, and she acted like they were getting a detention. And then I was watching it with Ellie, and she made a comment about how it was gonna be like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Because, okay, this is what Shannon had. Shannon had a big, gigantic stack of papers. And I'm just like, it's going to fall over. And Ellie made a comment that it was going to fall over like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And then the judge made a comment that it was going to fall over. And she had this, and it was leaning over. She had these thousands of papers. It was so ridiculous. Yes, Smokey, it was an attorney for the parents. And go into more detail about it. Let's see. Shannon, attorney, Crumbly trial. Jennifer Crumbly. And so we have, okay, understood, Moki, understood. So we have Jennifer Crumbly's attorney apologizes for offensive comments made during trial. Now I'm going to read you all something about this first, and then we'll get into. We'll show that clip. We'll show a clip of something. All right, and watch something. All right. Let's see if the computer's handling this website because it looks like it's trying to. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read it from the phone. We're gonna watch something. We won't watch something, but we're going to first get to know who we're talking about first. All right. So first, I'm gonna read about the Crumbly, and then I'll show you all a video about it. All right. Okay. Here we go. We're going to get to know her and read about her first, then we'll watch a video about it. Jennifer Crumbly apologizes for offensive comments made during trial. The trial of Jennifer Crumbly, the mother of Oxford High School shooter, continues Monday with the third day of testimony and began with apology. Jennifer Crumbly's attorney, Shannon Smith, began the day apologizing for statements she made during the trial on Friday. All right. So she apologized about it. Let's see, we could find something. No, it's Shannon. Shannon Smith. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, chat, here we go. We're watching this from the Law and Crime channel that we may be familiar with. Okay. So let's do this. Alrighty, we're gonna switch over screens so we could see this. Okay. We're going to get it ready first and then do that. Defense attorney Bowles. Let's see. Oh, let's see some. Okay, let's go right here, the most watched clip. And we're going to go here, there. All right. So, thank you for your patience, chat. There we go. Make sure they can hear it too, Hansis. Okay, and get the remote. And okay, let's go. And this video is from Law and Crime. This is the video from Law and Crime Trials. Go.
You're going to stop the live stream? Should we stop the live stream?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, is the prosecution doing their question?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I like can't think straight.
Oh, yeah, I think he said that he's
Yes.
finished, yeah.
Okay. I have no questions for you, I'm sorry. Thank you. Can this witness be observed?
Yes, you can step down and you're excused. Who's the next witness?
And then you have the situation, and this is really shows how emotionally sensitive Shannon was. And you see that she just starts crying right there. Wow, this is really something. You know? And right here you can see.
Who's the next witness?
It's Candy Bath.
Is there any way we could have like a minute?
Say it again.
I'm like so sorry. Can we just have a minute? Like a break or can we have a 10-minute break, please?
Oh, sure. Sure. I'm going to give you a 10-minute break, okay?
All rise for the jury.
Yeah, so as I said, she wanted a break and she started crying. And it was absolutely, I was like, when I was watching this originally, it was like, she just has all over the place with her emotions. And I was just like, wow, this is something quite, you know, crazy, you know, for her to do. All right.
Okay. You are on the record. And you
Your Honor, this court, upon the defense's request, instructed the prosecutors not to show emotion. You instructed the prosecutors to tell our witnesses not to show emotion, and you instructed us to let our victims know.
I don't think that's actually what I said.
I understand the ruling, Your Honor. I do.
Yeah.
You're concerned about influence of the jury. I take no issue with it, but it was a difficult thing. It's difficult, and we're doing it. And then to have not just the defendant, her lawyer, sit there sobbing. So
I did not sob.
I just want to finish, Your Honor. I just want to finish. I think if that is the instruction, we are trying really hard to respect the court's instruction because I understand the reason for it.
Okay, I didn't tell people not to show emotion. Some of that is involuntary.
Yeah, so basically, well, people could be emotional about it, but I said Shannon with her antics and her acting, you know, roasting the people, the viewers in the court, it was just all over the place. Yeah, absolutely. Now we're continuing. Right.
But there have been times in this courtroom during trials when people will show facial expressions or you know, things like that, or make comments. I understand this is a very emotional situation for everyone here, right? If someone was audibly sobbing in the audience, I would hope that they would exit. And as you said, you know, the reason for it, I didn't tell anybody not to show emotion. I guess some emotion is involuntary. So I guess I'm asking what you're asking of me.
I think it should apply to both sides.
Your Honor, first of all, I was not sobbing, and this is horrific. This
I've
is
never
horrific.
seen this before.
It's
Okay.
horrific. That's
Okay.
why we asked the court not to play it. This is horrific. I don't know how the prosecutor.
Okay, this is
she's
horrific.
watched it 100 times
I've never seen
with
it.
these
You've
witnesses.
had it.
It's horrific.
You've had this video for over 2 years.
I don't know. I don't have this video. I have to go to their office to watch it.
You've seen it.
No, I haven't, because it's not necessary. It's not relevant to my client's case. We've already litigated this, but we're doing our best. We were not.
But like, what are we doing here? It's like getting argumentative, and she's not sobbing, and I feel she has like an ego and something to protect also. It's like, what are we doing? Like, is this a clown world or something? All right, so this is what we had to deal with watching a trial. Continuing.
Not sobbing or making a scene in any way. All my eye makeup's still on. I checked my camera.
I'm not having.
I need to run to the bathroom. I need a break.
Okay, we're having a break. That's what we're doing, and you got to keep your voices down because
I'm sorry.
the walls are cardboard in here. So
I'm sorry.
okay, all right. Everyone here is human, right? Everyone here is human. I understand that. I'm striving really hard to give both sides a fair trial, and if people don't at least try to check themselves, to exit if it's they.
Judge had very good composure on this, and also shout out to Law and Crime for putting this video there, for us to see. And yeah, so basically you see she was freaking out. She was, but the judge kept her cool. But Shannon just gets all, yeah, she wanted a bathroom break. She's like a kid who is pouting. And Moki said, haha, all my eye makeup is still on. This is hilarious. How did I miss it? All right.
Excruciating, which I know it is. I'm not a robot. I'm trying to keep myself from sobbing. I'll do it at 6 o'clock tonight, okay?
I appreciate that, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
That's all I'm
Your
asking.
Honor, we don't have the option to leave the courtroom. We're trying our best. We're trying. I promise you, we are trying our best.
All right.
Thank
All right.
you.
Everybody needs to take a deep breath. She has to go downstairs, right? And we're going to call you right, have her come right. How long do you think the next witness is? I'm bringing lunch in for the
Next
juries.
witnesses can be back. I anticipate very brief questioning.
Yeah, so anyway, that it just shows the immaturity that was going on. The entire trial, she was doing stuff like this. And then G says Jennifer Crumley's lawyer tells the court about her own lack of showering. Wow. I swear she was accused of about the middle finger. I'll find it at some point. Scared.
Okay, because I'm having their lunch delivered so they don't have to commingle with people in the cafeteria.
It should be less than 30 minutes. So
Okay,
we'll work
okay,
out fine.
all right,
Are we going to break then after that witness?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that is about the nonsense of Shannon. And yeah, tomorrow we'll watch the closing argument. And shout out to Law and Crime. It's a very cool video by them. It was nice to show you all the reaction to that. Oh, I don't know, G. I have no idea. I don't recall that. Yeah, I think that there's truth to that probably. I think there is. I just don't recall on the top of my head of an event like that. And G said, I am looking for the time she put her kids down that day and dare ask her for food or something like that. I remember that. Yeah, she said something like that during her closing, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, that's something we could, tomorrow we'll watch the closing. Yeah, it's quite fun. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you thought the judge was too soft. Okay. Now, I will say, though, the judge still maintained the composure. But Shannon was not having any kind of composure. And Shannon had no filters. Like, I remember I was watching it. I was eating some hot chips. And hanging out. And, like, watching it with chat. And she's just, like, we're just, like, chilling. And then she started ranting. And I'm like, what on earth? And she did it again. And she did it again. All right, Moki. Oh, I'll look for another one. Let's see. All right, Aaron. See you tomorrow.
How do you feel about boarding the Titanic?
Oops. There is something. I saw this video about an AI generated thing that asks you what it's like to be on the Titanic. Something we might show another time. I am just like gathering information. You know, that was kind of a bit of a surprise for a second. Sorry for the startling chat. I'm just going through some things. Okay, so we got that. And then we got this. We're going to save that. Alright, so now we're going to look into the crumbly thing. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking. Okay, Moki, thank you. Okay, okay, understood. Oh, okay, G. Can you copy and paste a link? Is that what you mean? Okay, so, oh, we're still Joan. We're still Joan. All right. Also, talk more about the Juneteenth thing tomorrow too. But anyway, basic. Oh, good. Thanks. Thanks, G. It's loading. Come on.
As the prosecutor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the closing arguments we're watching tomorrow. Of the Crumbly, yeah, definitely. Okay, I'll send you the link right now, Liberty. Here you go. Oh, I'm being law and crime trial. Law and crime trial. All right. This is one of the links. Liberty. But we're still going to watch something now. I got some funny stuff to show y'all. I still got some funny stuff to show y'all. That's one of their channels. All right, and this is Law and Crime Trial. They have two channels. No, it was on CBS. But we're going to watch it from the Law and Crime channel, like when we watch it. But it doesn't really matter, though. But Law and Crime, I know them, like, because we're there all the time. Yes, Liberty, it's free. We watch it for free. Yes. Welcome, Liberty. Let's see, some Johnny Depp trials stuff. Okay, there's a scene from Johnny Depp trial that was hilarious. Okay, so yeah. Okay, this is one of my favorite scenes from the Johnny Depp trial. Okay, so I've shown this one before. Let's see. And then here. Yeah, Smokey, that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad to do it. That's how I found Law and Crime, and that was one of the greatest experiences ever with that trial. All right, this is like one of the funniest things ever. Okay. Hilarious. Dog getting stepped on by a bee. All right. This is one of my favorite scenes.
Interact in public. I have seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact and his process speed is certainly not slow. I've seen him do commercials. His process speed was not slow.
At deposition, didn't you say that what you did was compare Mr. Depp's performance in lots of pirate movies against his deposition testimony here?
What I said was I've seen Mr. Depp do apology ads. I remember he did an apology ad with Bad Dog with no delay in process speed. I've seen him interact with the media regarding to that. I saw no delay in processing speed. All I'm saying.
Let me ask you about pirates, though. You compared pirates to the depositions given in this case.
And I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
He misspoke for sure. I mean, you're gonna what are we doing? You're gonna compare the pirates, how someone is acting in a movie, to how they are in real life. Like, what kind of professionalism is that? Everyone that Amber Heard was associated with was a nut. You know, like, she seems like she was a whole circus. And G said, "OMG, I love this. My daughter went nuts. Licking the lips was off the charts. He became unhinged." Yeah. Yeah, I remember this nutball. I was laughing so hard. This is one of my favorite moments ever. All right.
You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay. Because you know you can't compare pirates to sworn testimony, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can, but as an aside, you can judge someone's processing speed at any time. Like, I'm judging yours right now, you're judging mine. We all judge processing speed as a baseline because of what we know about each other. I would say your process.
You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to.
Oh, okay. I must have pressed something by mistake. Okay, thanks, Moki. All right, backing up. I didn't realize that y'all couldn't hear that. Okay. Okay, backing up.
That was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
What, right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you?
When speed as a baseline, because of what we know about each other, I would say your process speed right now is not slow. So, I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
What, right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka and I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened or whatever it was. But no, I did not.
All right. You made a very kind admission, I think, early on in your deposition, that you're not claiming to be a better actor than Mr. Depp.
Exactly, G. She said, I mean, he's not wrong. You can't judge the speed, but it's also a script. They are told how fast or slow how to act. Right. It's like a puppet on a string. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to answer. I'm like, what are we doing here? I remember when I was watching this actually at the Independence Channel. I only came to Law and Crime for one time for a moment. But I was mostly at Independence Channel with another group. And it was so hilarious. He was just like, smacking his lips and going. It's like, are you a cat or something? Is somebody giving some catnip away for free and getting some tuna? Like what are we doing here? Come on. And yeah, this guy is crazy. Exactly, TJ. And G says, we just want to watch you act a fool. How is someone with issues like that a doctor healing others? I know. It's like, how did this man pass the inspection? How did he get certified? Like, this is a complete clown show. Like, look at the audience, too. The audience is just, like, tripping. Like, a woman has a face palm, and Johnny is like, okay, what are we doing here? And then everybody's just, like, looking intently at this dude acting a fool, man. I made so many memes out of this dude. I made so many memes. Like, all right.
Yeah. That's correct, isn't it?
100%.
All right. But with respect to acting, you know that actors actually rehearse for their parts and work on the language, diction, timing of their dialogue as part of that rehearsal?
If you say that, I'm not an actor, so I don't know what goes on. I can't tell you. I have no idea what goes on in acting.
Okay, but you don't know enough about acting to know whether actors rehearse?
Sir, I am not an expert in acting. I have no idea what an actor does.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I think he has Tourette's or a form of tickle, or a form of tick. Ah, okay. I don't even know. It's like, I don't even understand, like, the dude who's, I said, complete clown. And G said, Moki, he definitely has issues. It's a nervous tick of a sort. He's definitely off. Yeah, and this is what, yeah, right on, Zoe. This is exactly like what he chooses. Like, no, not he, but she. This is what she chose as a doctor. Like, absolutely hysterical. Dr. Spiegel. Oh, and there's an ad for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm joked out. Yeah, and Moki said, okay, thanks, Alien, I got to sign off. I'll check for you tomorrow. Nice chatting with all of you. Oh, Moki, have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you very much. So I'm gonna like read this. She only had Monopoly money. All right. So I'm gonna just read a Wikipedia article about the Johnny Depp trial. Hmm. There's some news. Hmm. There's news. Johnny Depp faces new claim from Amber Heard trial juror. Hmm. Oh Lord. We gotta look at this. I gotta do a video on this one. Oh good grief. Holy mackerel. Alright. For to help the page out, I'm gonna switch it over here. Alright. Johnny Depp faces new claim from Amber Heard case trial juror. Johnny Depp still seems to be in it. One of the jurors from the high-profile Depp Amber Heard defamation trial is speaking out in a new book, offering a rare glimpse into what influenced the jury's decision. Tom Nguyen, a 53-year-old retired defense contractor, shared his perspective in Hollywood Vampires, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, and the Celebrity Exploitation Machine, written by Kelly Londenberg, Miko Woolley. Oh, you have a great night too, TJ. Thank you for coming, friend. Oh, hello, Duke. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to chat. Liberty says, I just saw on X the Simpsons episode video showing June 20, last day of civilization, so I commented I'm getting donuts tomorrow then. Oh, oh yeah, hilarious, Liberty. Alright. The book explores the courtroom saga that captured public attention. Nguyen's comments provide an inside look at how jury evaluated the testimony and evidence. According to Nguyen, the jury, which included 5 members and 2 women, was especially skeptical of Heard's version of events. You've heard he's a clone. I've heard of cloning actors before, like with the Beatles and stuff. Yeah, I don't know enough about that, but it's interesting. Interesting. According to Nguyen, the jury, which included 5 men and women, and 2 women, especially the skeptical of Heard's version of events. Quote, we didn't believe a lot what she was saying. There's all actors, they can put on different face if you pay them enough, he said. He added that the 2 women on the jury were together on Amber than the men. He pointed to what he described as inconsistencies and gaps in Heard's story. There were so many inconsistencies, so many holes, it was hard for us to believe any of it. Nguyen also shared that Depp's testimony made an impression. For me, I enjoyed Depp's testimony, he explained. He was pretty entertaining, going back and forth with Heard's lawyers. We were sitting there for 8 hours a day and having him on the stand, and was a breath of fresh air. He revealed that most of the jury didn't recognize Heard before the trial, but Nguyen, the broader takeaway went beyond the celebrity status of the people involved. Okay, so we're continuing reading. Gee, we'll find out. So Nugent also shared a testimony made an impression. For me, I enjoyed Depp's testimony. He explained he was pretty entertaining going back and forth with Heard's lawyer. We were sitting there for 8 hours a day and having him on the stand with a breath of fresh air. He revealed that most of the jury didn't recognize Heard, but Nugent, and the broader takeaway went beyond the celebrity status of the people involved. Not every case of abuse is from a man, he stated. Alright, no, we're still reading it. I'm just seeing the thing is kind of, might be... okay, we're going to have to do this through another window, because it's... okay. I'm going to read this again through another window, because it's acting a little bit overloaded because of the ads on the website, so we're just going to do this again. Alright, everybody's okay. Johnny Depp faces new claim. Faces new claim. It seems like it's more about courtroom secrets than Johnny Depp being exposed. More than... but let's do this again with the... now it shouldn't be doing the buffering as much. So we're going to go through this again. It may not be a claim of anything bad. It might be something good. Let's find out. Johnny Depp Amber Heard case trial. Juror comes forward with new claim. Johnny Depp still seems to be in it. One of the jurors from the high-profile Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial is speaking out with a new book offering a rare glimpse into what influenced the jury's decision. So he's talking about like a book on what influenced the jury's decision. Tom Nugent, a 53-year-old retired defense contractor, shared a perspective in Hollywood vampires Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and the celebrity exploitation machine written by Kelly Lundenberg and Miko Woolley. The book expresses the courtroom saga and captured the public attention, and Nugent's comments provide an inside look on how the jury evaluated testimony and evidence. According to Nugent, the jury, which included 5 men and 2 women, was especially skeptical of Heard's version of events. Quote, "We didn't believe a lot of what she was saying. They're all actors. They can put on different face if you pay them enough," he said. He added that the 2 women on the jury were together on Amber than the men. Oh, hello, Overtime. Peace and love. Much respect to you, buddy. He pointed to what he described as inconsistencies and gaps in Heard's story. There were so many inconsistencies, so many holes, it was hard for us to believe any of it. Nugent also shared that Depp's testimony made an impression. For me, I enjoyed Depp's testimony. He explained he was pretty entertaining going back and forth with Heard's lawyer. We were sitting there for 8 hours and having him on the stand was a breath of fresh air. You're welcome, Overtime. He revealed that most of the jury didn't recognize Heard before the trial, but for Nugent, the broader takeaway went beyond the celebrity status of the people involved. Not every case of abuse was from a man, he stated. I agree, in a lot of cases in the past it probably was a man, but you can't just jump to conclusion for someone like Johnny Depp. He can weather a storm. He's got money, fame, connections. But an ordinary guy like me could lose his job and livelihood. There's just no way of coming back from that. Before people start to put a scarlet letter on you, you have to let them have their day in court, or at least allow them to defend themselves without any prejudiced ideas. The trial concluded on June 1, 2022, with the jury ruling out Yes, correct, G. Correct. The trial concluded on June 1, 2022, with the jury ruling in Depp's favor in his defamation case. Heard in turn one of her three counterclaims. The two later reached a settlement, with Heard agreeing to pay Depp $1 million. That's all the article says. Yeah, so it's a new book that's coming out. And the guy is just revealing different information. Read some more context about this book. Johnny Depp trial juror finally speaks out and reveals courtroom secrets. All right. A new book titled Hollywood Vampires, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and the Celebrity Exploitation Machine has been released and gives the first time behind the closed doors account of the centralized 2022 multi-million-dollar defamation trial. The tell features input from 53-year-old retired defense contractor Tom Nugent, who claims that the jury was rather biased towards Aquaman actress favoring Depp's accounts over hers. Highlights. One of the jurors from the Johnny Depp defamation trial broke their silence in an tell-all book. He says that the people barely knew Heard before the trial. He also claims that Heard stared at jurors in a way that made them uncomfortable. The trial, which came to fruition after Heard published an op-ed Washington Post calling herself a victim in abuse married to the Pirates of the Caribbean actor, resulted in Depp suing her for $50 million. Zoe says, "Okay, gotta go. Have a great night, all. Beautiful people. Thank you, Alien, for another great stream." Oh, you're welcome, Zoe. Have a good night. Blessings to you, and see you on the next one. The trial, which came to fruition after Heard published an op-ed, the Nugent claimed that the jury viewed everything Heard said was disdained. The jury used the term crocodile tears to describe Amber Heard's emotional episode. That's what we called her, too. We also said it was crocodile tears. Quote, "It was hard for us to believe any of it." The book, co-authored by Kelly Ludenberg and Miko, wholly quotes Nugent as saying, "The reason, according to the juror, was that the actress' version of events was full of holes, inconsistencies. Quote, she would answer one question, and she would be crying. And 2 seconds later, she would turn ice cold," Nugent recalled. The jury viewed these erratic changes of emotion suspiciously, and some used the expression crocodile tears to describe her fits. They were pro-Johnny all the way. One challenge that stood out above the rest was the fact that both came from industries where winning crowds over was part of their day-to-day. Quote, "They're all actors. They can put on a different face if you pay them enough," Nugent observed. Still, the jury was dubious about Heard, despite her skill and experience in the trade. Quote, we didn't believe a lot of what she was saying," the 53-year-old explained. One On the other hand, their attitude toward Depp was polar opposite. The female jurors were harsher on Heard. Nugent claims that few of his fellow jurors had never heard of Depp's ex-wife prior to the court case, while Depp, thanks to his on-screen career, was a household name. Unlike Heard, Nugent claims that he enjoyed Depp's accounts. Quote, he was pretty entertaining going back and forth with Heard's lawyers. We were sitting there for 8 hours a day and having him on the stand, and was a breath of fresh air, Nugent was saying. He also noted that the women in the jury were harsher on Heard than the 5 male colleagues. Nugent believes the trial's outcome proved that it is not only men who are abused. Huh, right. Yeah, over time, understood, yeah. And yeah, because he certainly did a better job with the jury than Heard, because Heard was just full of lies. There is not a new Depp trial. No. What's going on is that somebody from the jury is releasing a book about their experiences. Like, there's a juror that's releasing a book about what it was like being a juror and some stuff that we didn't know about, but we assumed. Contrary to Heard's later characterization of the trial, Nugent believes that the outcome testified at the fact that not all abuse is inflicted by men. Another thing about the Johnny Depp trial is that there was talk about a second one, that she was going to try to do another one, and it was rejected. But we were getting ready for a second one. Yeah, the whole trial was on TV. We watched it on Law and Crime and Independent. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, and tarnishing someone's reputation is not cool. Quote, I agree in a lot of cases that in the past it probably was men, but you can't just jump to that conclusion for someone like Johnny Depp. He can weather the storm, Nugent said. Quote, he's got money, fame, and connections. He went on to say if allegations like these were brought against the average male who did not have Depp's resources, they would likely be ruined. I don't know if Diddy's on TV. It's on Law and Crime, though. But, oh, no, it's not. Okay, it is not on TV. It's not on TV. Because it's a state trial in New York, they don't have that. But Law and Crime is covering the trial, but they just show outside the courtroom. It is not, there is no cameras in the courtroom for Diddy. No. Nowhere. Because it's a federal trial, and also New York State doesn't have trials televised. Personally, like Jesse Weber of Law and Crime and myself both agree that they should have cameras in those courtrooms. We both agree on that. Definitely. Like, I think that everybody should see what's going on. All right. He went to say if that allegations like these were brought against the average male who did not have Depp's resources, they would likely be ruined. Yeah, okay, thank you, G, for confirmation. An ordinary guy like me could lose his job and livelihood. There's just no way for coming back from that, Nugent said, and trying to put himself in Depp's shoes. It is not the first time the juror broke ranks and leaked information on the trial. In 2022, Good Morning America spoke on the anonymous male juror at the early stage and already mirrored Nugent's statements, claiming that Heard's account of events were unbelievable. Overtime says Diddy had a good luck for so long, making money off his deleted friend and never paying anyone what they worth. Only one on Bad Boys that survived was Mace. Yeah, it's really evil for him to do that, and he clearly doesn't have conscience, or and he is in a dark triad for wanting to do that, DJ. Because, and then but he had to pay the piper, and I believe in karma. I'm a strong believer in karma. And he had his day, all right? His day is here, but he had good luck for so long, and was it the connections? Was there a certain point when they couldn't contain it anymore? Yeah, so just, people think they can get away with it, but it's not true. A lot of Amber's stories did not add up. The leakers said that from the position out of the camera's range, and the majority of the jury felt she was more of an aggressor. Yeah, overtime, yeah. He went so far to say that Heard alerted that sudden changes of emotion with moments of starting intensity at the jury make them feel uncomfortable. Of Depp, he said, he just seemed like a little bit more real terms on how he was responding to the questions. His emotional state was very stable throughout. Ah, yeah, overtime. Yeah, it could be an alien, like one of the evil kind. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Funny. Social media has since weighed in on the news and believed that the jury got the ruling right. One user captured the sentiment that when she wrote, quote, "Either way, the jury got it right. Case closed." The way they were in a toxic relationship, I don't see either of them being innocent, which I agree with. They should have just admitted that to each other and called it a day, wrote another. Not everyone was neutral, and one person wrote, "Everybody knew she was lying. That's the reason why she lost." All right. So that is just an update about the Johnny Depp trial. Okay. All right. Overtime, I hope that you had a good time at that gig that you're doing a DJing at. I hope that it went well. All right. And all right. So basically, that now what we're going to do now is the stream has ended. We're coming to an ending point. So this stream is really cool, very cool, and we got quite a bit of people. Yeah, this is quite a bit. Wow. All right, let's go ahead and edit this. And oh, that's on the 28th. Ah, okay. Okay, understood. All right, and save. All right, so G says, yeah, it's that they believe he didn't abuse and only she was bad, but they hated was her lying about her part and blaming him entirely, whereas he admits he didn't behave the best. We'll try to be early the next stream. Yeah, earlier on the next stream, if you could be a little bit earlier, yeah, we could do the panel. Yeah, we will overtime. And yeah, we'll see about like sometime maybe tomorrow or the next day. We'll have you on, and a little bit earlier. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, overtime at some point you will be on the show, and we'll have you on. And yeah, we'll have you on. And also keep reminding me. I appreciate that. And yeah, G, thank you for your point. Right. Because Johnny Depp didn't act perfect either. Like, I don't think he was abusing her to the extent that she claimed. But I think that he was not perfect, and he did things he shouldn't have done. But yeah, so basically, she was being absurd with what she was doing. Yeah. Yeah, overtime. And also, so, all right, now what we'll be doing is thank you all for watching and have a very good evening. And tomorrow will be live during the daytime. We'll doing some trial mayhem with that one. All right, everybody, have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in, and